Ladies and gentlemen, what just happened in Washington over the last 48 hours? This is some kind of a political earthquake that the media prays you never notice because it exposes them, it exposes their sources, and it exposes the entire scam that has been running against President Donald J. Trump ever since the day he walked back into the Oval Office this year. MS Now, formerly MSNBC, now running under a rebrand that didn't fix a single thing, just got caught red-handed in the biggest anti-Trump hoax of 2025. They tried to manufacture a crisis inside the Trump administration. They tried to break the trust between Trump and FBI Director Kash Patel. They tried to use the same anonymous source playbook that they used during Russiagate, Crossfire Hurricane, and pretty much every fraudulent bombshell that has blown up in their faces for nearly a decade. Only this time, they got humiliated on camera because the moment that Trump is firing Kash Patel's story dropped, the White House didn't scramble. They didn't panic. They didn't issue a carefully worded statement. No, none of that. President Trump just laughed at them, laughed in their faces, read the headline out loud in the Oval Office, and then pulled Patel into the frame for a smiling photo op that torched the entire narrative in seconds. But here's a part of the story that no one is ready for. This isn't a mistake. This wasn't sloppy reporting. This was a coordinated hit job. And tonight, we're going to expose who planted it, why they did it, and what they're terrified that Kash Patel is about to reveal next. Hit the like button and subscribe, guys. Oh, the rabbit hole goes quite deep on this one. So topic one, and this one is where the entire scam begins, okay? So MS Now didn't report anything. They launched a manufactured crisis. They took the oldest trick in Washington, the same blueprint that they used during Russiagate, Crossfire Hurricane, and the Steele dossier leaks, and every so-called bombshell that blew up on contact with reality, and they recycled it like it was 2017 all over again. Three anonymous insiders, all close to the situation. Yeah, they could never name drop because there are no names, all conveniently positioned to sound credible. Then they dropped the story. Trump preparing to fire FBI Director Kash Patel. No evidence, no documents, no quotes, just the ghosts of the same political operatives who lied to the country for years, now repackaged under a new network name that fooled absolutely no one. Now, what MS Now tried to do was classic narrative engineering. Create the appearance of chaos inside Trump's administration, spark division between Trump and Patel, and then let the rumor metastasize before facts ever emerge. But this time, guys, the scam collapsed instantly. Now, this is where MS Now's bombshell didn't just fall apart. It detonated directly under them. In fact, because President Donald J. Trump didn't respond with a press release, he didn't call for a briefing, he didn't send out surrogates. No, he laughed in the Oval Office, with Kash Patel standing right beside him. Trump picked up the report, read the headline out loud like he was reading a joke out of a cereal box, and then looked at Kash Patel, smirked, and said, "Come on, Kash, get into the photo." And that single moment, guys, obliterated MS Now's entire narrative. One picture, one big laugh, and one public roasting from the President of the United States. Guys, I mean, this is proving the story was not only false, but it was completely ridiculous. The White House didn't deny the report. They mocked it. This wasn't a rebuttal. This was a checkmate. And this exposed something the media never wanted Americans to see. Their influence is dying. Now, before we go any deeper, let me say something that matters just as much as the truth that we're exposing tonight. It is a terrible feeling, genuinely terrible, knowing a medical bill hurt your family because your Medicare plan didn't protect you. Now, I've seen people deal with that guilt. I've seen people say it quietly. I should have done something sooner. And this is why I partner with Chapter. Chapter prevents that moment, that I failed my family moment, by showing you exactly what your Medicare covers and what your coverage doesn't cover. The things that most people never even think to ask about. Now, one of you told me I stopped feeling like a burden. And that hit me right there because most people watching this show right now are already protecting their family from the fallout. Most people are already dialing the phone number at the bottom of your screen right there, 909-563-8279, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. And of course, it is a totally free service for the Ron Yates community. And I want to share this too. So Stephen Matthews, he left a comment saying, Chapter actually saved me $75 a month. Steve, thank you so much for sharing that comment. Guys, stories like this, stories like yours actually make these conversations real. Now let's get back into why this happened in the first place, because MS MS Now didn't wake up one morning and accidentally invent a firing rumor. No, this was a reaction. This was a reflex. This was a knee-jerk reaction, a panic attack from the very people who depend on the old FBI staying exactly the way that it's been for decades. And Kash Patel, he's blowing it up from the inside. He is dismantling the political divisions that used to specialize in selective leaks to favored networks. He's cleaning up the FISA access. He's locking down the loopholes that were abused during the Trump-Russia years. He's exposing forgotten case files, long buried inconsistencies, and internal conduct that should have been addressed years ago. He represents oversight. He represents transparency. He represents the end of a culture that protected itself at all costs. This is why this deep state remnants inside the Bureau fear him. Not because he's partisan, but because he's competent, he's relentless, and he's unbothered by their theatrics. Now, Kash Patel's reforms aren't cosmetic, they're structural, and that's why they struck back. Now, if you want to understand who planted the fake firing story, you need to understand the network still operating behind the scenes, because even with Trump back in the Oval Office, even with new leadership at the FBI, even with Patel at the top, the bureaucracy hasn't surrendered, not even close. There are senior officials, some still active, some recently reassigned, who spent years leaking to protect themselves, protect their reputations, and protect the intelligence myths that they built during the Russia Aerogate. Now, these are the same people who whispered into friendly newsrooms, the same people who framed political narratives as national security crises. I mean, the same people who used selective leaks to pressure presidents and shield their failing agencies. They saw Patel rising, they saw Trump trusting him, and they saw their last remaining influence disappearing. So they did what they always do. They weaponized anonymity. They fed MS Now a storyline tailor-made to create internal chaos. This wasn't journalism. It was sabotage from the very beginning. Now, this is where everything snaps into focus, because once you trace the fingerprints on this fake firing story, you start to see the same people, the same tactics, and the same motivations that drove the entire Russiagate hoax. And at the very center of that old machine, Adam Schiff. Oh yeah, your boy Adam Schiff here spent years attacking Kash Patel by name, dragging him into hearings, smearing him on cable news, framing him as this rogue operative, simply because Kash Patel, he exposed what Schiff needed to keep buried. Patel was the staffer who spotted the contradictions in the Steele dossier. He was the investigator who unpacked the FISA abuse. He was the one who pulled the curtain back when Schiff insisted everything was above board. So it's really no coincidence that the moment Kash Patel becomes FBI director, all the same operatives suddenly reappear. Anonymous sources, intelligence officials, and media stenographers repeating copy and paste talking points. Come on, guys. Different year, different network name, same political operatives terrified of the same man. This wasn't new. This was deja vu with a press badge. And so the goal of this whole firing story wasn't information. It was psychological warfare. I mean, the media tried to create a rift inside the Trump administration using nothing but timing, innuendo, and the illusion of internal chaos. Their plan was simple. Step 1, drop the rumor while Patel is restructuring the bureau. Step 2, suggest Trump is losing confidence. Step 3, let pundits speculate until the rumor becomes accepted truth. Now, this is the Washington playbook for kneecapping reformers. They don't debate policy. They don't challenge facts. They just create the appearance of instability and hope that the president panics. And none of it worked, guys, because unlike past Republican presidents who actually feared narrative pressure, Trump doesn't live inside the media's psychological universe. He don't even care about those fools. He doesn't react to the leaks. He doesn't bend to anonymous gossip. He doesn't panic when corporate networks yell bombshell, right? I mean, no, he just doesn't. Instead, he doubled down, laughed it off, and wiped out the entire storyline with one Oval Office photo. I mean, the media didn't just fail. They straight up embarrassed themselves. And so now let's talk about the moment that the left thought they finally had their opening, the Charlie Kirk murder investigation. Now, this was the one slip the media had been waiting for. And the second Kash Patel stumbled, they pounced like it was a national holiday. Patel announced a suspect too early. Hours later, the suspect was released, and instantly, the very same people who spent years ignoring FBI failures suddenly pretended to care about proper procedure. Yeah, sure. Democrats weaponized it. Anti-Trump pundits amplified it. Bureaucratic holdovers inside the bureau whispered, see, he ain't ready. Yeah, but this wasn't about Charlie Kirk. This was about leverage. They wanted to paint Patel as reckless. They wanted to paint a narrative that they could reuse. They wanted justification to undermine every reform Patel had in motion. The misstep became their excuse, their talking point, their ammunition. But here's the truth. The left didn't fear Kash Patel because of one mistake. They feared him because even with that mistake, Trump still stood by him. And that loyalty shattered their plan. The Charlie Kirk case wasn't just a criminal investigation. This was a political earthquake, and the deep state remnants inside the DOJ and the FBI knew it. The murder of one of the most influential conservative activists in America created a national spotlight that they just couldn't control. And Patel, newly appointed, walked directly into that spotlight. Inside the Bureau, there were factions waiting for the first opportunity to claim Patel's leadership was dangerous, destabilizing, or even unprofessional. The Kirk case gave them the excuse that they needed. Why? Because the stakes were enormous. I mean, the investigation carried political weight. The public demanded answers, and Patel's oversight threatened to unearth more than just a killer. It threatened to expose how the Bureau handled high-profile political targets in the past. It threatened to reveal how certain cases were deprioritized or over-prioritized for political reasons. It threatened to bring sunlight to the precise areas that the old guard wanted left in darkness. Now, to them, the Kirk case wasn't tragedy, it was opportunity. This was an opportunity to strike back. Now, let's go ahead and pull the curtain back and let's show you the real reason Kash Patel has become the #1 target of the Democratic establishment, the legacy media, and even the bureaucratic holdovers that are clinging to the old FBI. It isn't his politics, it isn't his personality, it isn't even his title. It is his competence. Patel is one of the few people in Washington who actually understands the inner machinery of the intelligence bureaucracy, how narratives were constructed, how leaks were coordinated, and how FISA warrants were justified, and most importantly, how Crossfire Hurricane was built on contradictions and circular sourcing. He knows the truth behind the Steele dossier. He knows which officials abused process, and he knows who weaponized intelligence for political gain. But most importantly, he has receipts. And unlike traditional bureaucrats who crumble under media pressure, Patel didn't flinch. He doesn't retreat. He doesn't negotiate with people who lie. He is loyal to Trump, loyal to the truth, and dangerous to anyone who spent years protecting the old order. That's why they fear him. That's why they smear him. And that is why they want to remove him, or at least they try to remove him. And so this is the part MS Now never expected. They thought that their fake firing story would drive a wedge between Trump and Patel. They thought Trump would panic, distance himself, or at least freeze while the media frenzy built, right? But instead, Trump did the opposite. He doubled down. He didn't defend Patel quietly. He defended him loudly, publicly, and without hesitation. He read the headline in front of Patel, joked about it, clowned the media in front of them, like right in their faces, took a photo together, and then blasted the story as completely made up within minutes of publication. And that, my friends, that is the single moment that shattered the entire narrative operation. Why? Because the whole plan depended on Trump being rattled, Trump being scared by what the media just said. It depended on Patel becoming isolated. It depended on the appearance of instability. But when the president of the United States, in front of live cameras, in front of live TV, smiles next to the FBI director that you claim was about to be fired, the lie dies instantly. He didn't even have to say anything. Trump's confidence became Patel's armor. Patel's resilience became Trump's message, and MS Now's entire narrative collapsed before it even started. Now, here's what the media won't touch. Here's what the bureaucracy hopes you never learn, and what the political class fears Kash Patel will reveal next. Because Patel isn't just rearranging the FBI, he's exposing everything they buried. I mean, already his shakeup has uncovered long dormant case inconsistencies, evidence mishandling that went unreported, internal memos that contradict official narratives, and FISA requests that never should have been approved. And that's just what comes out in public. Behind closed doors, Kash Patel is reviewing politically sensitive cases that the old guard treated like sacred artifacts. Cases involving intelligence failures and selective enforcement and communications that certain former officials hoped would remain sealed forever. Well, Washington isn't terrified of Patel's mistakes. They're terrified of his successes. They know statutory disclosures are coming, and they know files that are tied to the Epstein Act are being forced in the daylight. They know Patel won't look away when he finds rot. The real panic isn't about Patel being removed. It's about Patel staying right here where he is. And so now we reach the final point, the part that exposes not just the scam, but the shift. Because this wasn't a failed hit job. This was a cultural earthquake inside Washington, D.C. For decades, the media controlled the narrative. Anonymous sources were gospel. Leaks were treated as fact. Bombshells shaped public perception before truth ever even had a chance. But not anymore. Trump's second term has broken that cycle. Patel's leadership has shattered the old machinery. The deep state operatives who once dictated political reality, they look powerless. They look desperate, and they're completely exposed at this point. This fake firing hoax didn't reveal weakness inside Trump's administration. It revealed weakness inside their system. They threw everything that they had at Patel. The story collapsed on contact with reality. No staying power, no public trust, no institutional muscle behind it. That's the real headline tonight, folks. The old architecture of narrative control, it's dying. The media no longer gets to invent reality. The bureaucracy no longer gets to hide behind secrecy. And the Trump-Patel alliance is reshaping Washington in real time. Hit the like button and subscribe for the latest news.